Dr. Razia there. Very privileged to have with us Abid Gill साहब. Abid Gill साहब, जो बड़े लोगों का introduction कराना हो तो चीज़ें हाथ में पकड़नी पड़ती हैं. So Abid Gill Saab has over 25 years of experience in social development. He has worked with UNESCO, he has worked with UNICEF, and he is actually the Deputy Chief Advisor in JICA. And he's also advising actually into the AKAL project, Advancing Quality and Alternative Learning. And this is for non-formal education. Uh, he has successfully led reforms processes in Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, KP, and federal government. और बहुत सारा काम किया है क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस में, एजुकेशनल पॉलिसीज़ में, and enhancement of standards, curriculums, and their management. We are very privileged to have you over here, Abid Saab, and thank you so much for taking out time for us. These are our graduate students. हमारी faculty में से यहाँ पे Dr. Razia Sadiq हैं यहाँ पे, and other people might join. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sabha, for giving me this opportunity and sharing some, as a practitioner, what's happening in the field of education and especially in the non-formal education. So today I will discuss about what's currently the challenge we are facing in education scenario in Pakistan. And then because of those challenge, we all know the many of indicators are very weak in Pakistan, not only the education but development indicator as well. So then we will discuss about what the alternate options are there to improve our education situation and indicators in Pakistan. So I'll share briefly about three challenge. Number one challenge, we already know the out-of-school children. We are not able to address this issue, and since long we are basically even the number of out-of-school children is increasing. Then we all know learning poverty. The children's one issue is the children are not in the school, but those who are in school, what's they are learning and what's basically they are getting from the education and our school system. And then the overall literacy situation of Pakistan, which basically is the impact of these who first the challenges. So I'll briefly talk about the literacy first. We know there are three basically literacy measures we do. One is we call literacy rate, then youth literacy rate, and then third is the adult literacy rate. So the literacy rate is the 10 years plus population who are able to read and write a simple paragraph and do some basic arithmetic. We call it the literacy rate. And then youth literacy is the population between 15 to 24 years, those who are basically illiterate or literate, so we can see the situation there. And then we have adult literacy rate, which is 15-year plus population onwards. So we can see the Pakistan situation, this uh, literacy rate is 60%, youth literacy rate is 72%, and the adult literacy rate is the 56%. So we have we can see a lot of variation among the provinces. So in Balochistan, the situation is really very uh, difficult because overall literacy rate is very low. But if we talk about the women literacy rate and we talk about the rural Balochistan, it's just 13% women are literate in Balochistan. So it's also happened in some part of Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Punjab as well. If we compare ourselves with the regional countries uh, for the youth literacy, so our regional countries, their youth literacy is more than 90%. Other than Afghanistan, because Afghanistan situation is, we cannot compare ourselves with Afghanistan because of the context and they are in war since many years. So other than Afghanistan, we are the only lowest in terms of youth. And we all know Pakistan has a bulk youth population. And this become like people call it opportunity. If you have this age group is high, so that means there is more chances of development in the country. But if the youth is illiterate, they are not skills, so they are not the assets for this country. They become liability. Uh, so this again related to youth between age to 15 to 24. So their participation actually is decreasing also. So if we go from primary to elementary to secondary to the tertiary education, so their numbers actually dropped badly in this scenario. Challenge is it's sometime percentage confused us. We I remember we were in the 56% literacy rate, then 58%, now we are 60%. But if we see our population who were literate in 2006 and 7 were 53 million. Now they are more than 17 million. So this gap is increasing. We are little do progress in the percentage of literacy rate, but terms of absolute number, it's become gap is widening every year because the population growth is, I think, according to this latest census, it's more than 2.5%, and our literacy growth is less than 1%. So this every year we are adding more illiterate in the society, and we are this gap is not basically we are able to cover this. The second challenge, as I said, out of school children. In 2016-17, the second last report of education statistics Pakistan says 22.83 million was out of school children. But the last week, actually, they launched a latest education statistics report. According to this, the out of school children population become 26.2 million because the in school are around 41 million, and if we take out 41 million from the 67.2 million, so it's more than 26 million. So the challenge is basically uh, uh, I remember in 2016-17, at that time we say Pakistan the second largest out of school children population country. First was Nigeria. But Nigeria, at that time, they have 25 million out of school children. But Nigeria, they put a lot of efforts to decrease this number of out of school children. And we were not able to do good efforts. And now, with this current situation, Pakistan is the largest out of school children population country. Our out of school children population number is equal to the Sri Lanka or maybe the Australia's population. So this is one of the very, very alarming situation and big challenge. Again, if we look at the provincial situation, Punjab in percentage is performing better, but Punjab is the 50% population of the country. So if we see the exact number of Punjab, more than 11 million children are among this 26 in the Punjab. And then in Balochistan, it's just 3 million. But this 3 million, the percentage we can see in the next slide is very high. So the situation is like Balochistan, 65% children, they are not in the school between 5 to 16 year. So they are out from any education like opportunity. Again, in KP with the 30%, it's in 47%, and Punjab is 35%. So this disparity we can see from the different provinces situation. Majority of the children who are out of school, they belong to rural area. Majority of them are girls, those are out of school. And one very difficult, like not a difficult, but one of the very challenging areas among overall 26.2 million, 78% children are between 10 to 16 year age. So they cross their entry level like time to enter into the school. Now they are our primary official age is 5 to 9. So they become when they are 10 years old, it's become very difficult for them to even restart their education or continue their education with a normal school, which we have the public schools system. And then as we see the situation, the children's from majority they drop out from grade 1 to 3. uh, then is a big challenge is transition from grade 5 to 6. So when they goes to the next level, our primary schools in overall Pakistan is around 80%, and elementary schools are 11%. So this pyramids become very sharp, and it's become very difficult to continue their education because there is no facility available in the nearby situations. And then every year we are adding more out of school children in the population. Uh, we were not able to like handle this properly, but also COVID and flood recent also make us more in trouble for this. So there are multiple reasons. There is not a single reason the children are out of school. So it's a very complex, basically, situation. I have just put some broader reasons why the children are not in the school. Pakistan is the unfortunately pro-disaster country. I remember in 2005 when we have earthquake in the some part of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and AJK, uh, around 3,600 school was damaged during this earthquake. I worked there for a few years for the rehabilitation of education program there, and even today, we are not able to make those all school functional in the earthquake areas. Many schools were damaged, fully damaged, partially damaged. Some transitional arrangement made, but still the proper functional schools are not available after so many years. Then 2010 and 11 flood and last year flood that hit our education infrastructure badly. So when disaster comes, it's not only basically hit the education infrastructure, but also livelihood. So the children who are out from the school for some months, become very difficult for to restart because their family priority change and their priority become like earning something for their daily livelihood, not the sending their children to the school. So that's why once the school months, some for some months schools are closed, then it's become very challenging and difficult to restart their education. And then this remoteness, I'll just give one example. One school to other school average distance in Pakistan is 7.8 kilometer. But if we see in Balochistan, it's a 28 kilometer. So this and the same happened in some part of South Punjab even, some area of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Sindh as well. So we are not able to even provide a proper access uh, nearby to school. And if we see the number of schools, maybe if we see the numbers and of the that age population, maybe we have the our most required schools are there, but those are not rationally established. The population is on other side, and then the schools is other side. We know this incident of this cable car. The children, they have to cross the river to go other side because the population is this side and the school on the other side. And even just 1 kilometer because of river or sometime mountain, access become very difficult. From sitting here on the map, it looks like a very close, but in the real situation, it's very difficult and it's not easy to access to the schools. Then the refugee, we have a very huge refugee population still exists in Pakistan, and for them, some are in the refugee camps, but majority of them are in the living in the suburbs. Even in Islamabad, you can see 100,000 children are refugees living in the slum areas of Islamabad. So they don't have proper identification. This POR card is not available, so their admission become very difficult. Or even they have the documentation, but still there is a lot of challenge. Their language barriers, cultural challenges, and other economic situation also is one of the reason they are not in the system. We also have some population stateless. Refugees, we know they are the refugee coming from Afghanistan, cross the border, and they are in Pakistan. But if you go to the Karachi, in Korangi area and some areas, there are hundreds and thousands families of Bengali communities, Rohingya, Bihari, no identity, not neither a Pakistani or not a Bengali or not any other country. So their parents, they don't have CNIC. In the past they have, then it was cancelled. And so children, they don't have Bay Farm. So all the admissions which basically opens in the primary level or elementary, they cannot get admission. So if you move around the streets of the Korangi, so we will see the children are many there. So only option they have is basically the madrasa is nearby, where they don't ask any documents, so they can send their children to the madrasa for some religious educations. So the culture barriers, but I relate it with the supply side challenge. It's not that much culture barrier. If a girl child complete the primary education at doorstep, and then next to elementary is the 12 kilometer. So we can imagine with this safety security situation, with the proper without proper transportation, it's not easy to even go to the a few kilometers. So as we add the kilometers into the from school to home, it's become difficult for them to go to the schools. So it's more about the basically not the demand issue, it basically the supply side challenge. So we are not able to provide them the doorstep opportunity. Then minority groups are there. This bottom line, poor economic background, working at child labor, or even no interest in the education or relevant education they believe. It's basically again a they even can afford to send their children at this with even very poor situation, but they don't trust on education. They believe education is not pay back anything to them. So when the child is in school, we motivate them, we mobilize them to continue to the primary level. Don't like let your child to drop from the school. After 6 years, what's happened? They say, "Oh, no, primary is not sufficient. You have to continue this." So we, like government say, free books, no fees. But there is a lot of indirect cost involved there, which parents have to afford. And then there is opportunity cost also. So we motivate them, ask them to work, complete the secondary education. So after 10, 11 years education, still they see there is no any job opportunity or any relevant something skill which is linked with their career. So then the other parents will decide not to send their child. They will send to the motorcycle mechanic. They will spend a very bad situation, like they will live in that situation for a few years. But that system gave a guarantee to be a small mechanics there. So the education is not relevant to their economic, social, and cultural needs. But that's why it's a huge number is not basically in the system. And then with the poor health and disability, minor disability is also challenge and then overage. So if we see this slide, the reasons of exclusions are many. So the our option should be inclusive enough to accommodate these reasons. What is our option? We say we have constructed this school. If it suits to, you can join it. It's not suits to many of the children basically. So we have not a design which help to accommodate these different type of the childrens. So that's why they are not in the school or not in the education. Then if they are in the school, what's they are learning? Many studies, including ASR or NEES studies, again, many independent studies says the children in grade 5, if we test their competency based on the grade 2 learning outcome, less than 50% they reach to that level. So in the simple mathematics, reading simple Urdu, or even is reading a word of English, which is the even level 1 or level 2 level competencies. So they are not performing at that set. So if school is not giving them any learning opportunity, so why they are in the school? This is the question which most of the parents, even they are illiterate, but they ask this question and they know the children are not learning. So that's why after grade 3 or even before grade 3, a huge number go outside. And then the others, after completion of primary transition level, again they are drop out. So our design is like a more a push strategy. We do this order from the chief minister to the DCO. You have to ensure no child should be dropped from the school. Every child should in the school. But it's not basically the solution. With this push they will stay in the school. We have to create some pull strategy so they can feel education is relevant to their economic need or social need or cultural need, so they stay there. So these are the three challenge which leads us to many other big challenges. In Pakistan, our all the TVET opportunities which we have, TEFTA or NEVTEC or PVTCs, all those private side even, maximum capacity of those TVET facilities has 500,000, 5 lakh is the maximum enrollment capacity. I will not talk about the quality of the programs or the relevant skills and those things, but just I'm talking about the number. And we need 5 million skilled labor every year to trained by these institutes. So it's a huge gap. One. Second, if a person is illiterate, even they cannot get admission on the next door opportunity which they have. So it's leads to a very low, basically participation in the their human resource participation, and we have a very low in the skill participation. So that ultimately, human development index and human capital index we see from last few years we are declining into the rank. Human development index 2016 we were in the 134. Again it was bottom. Next reports it was 240 and now 140 and then now 144. Same happened in the human capital index, because these index, the indicator which they have are basically the year of schooling. Then there are some health indicators, this decent skills, and also some per capita income. Those. So if we are this million children out of school, if the illiterates are in the millions. We are adding more. We cannot improve or reverse this declining situation of the uh, human development index and human capital index. So last few months we were reviewing this midterm sustainable development goal, and we were talking about sustainable development goal 4. We have now crossed the mid level of that. And with the previous some statistics, we can see where we will be in the goal 4 in the even by 2030, because the goal 4's MDGs, I remember it was a very quantitative goal, universal primary education or education for all. Now we are talking about inclusive, quality education and lifelong learning. We are talking about in the goal 4. So it's not only the goal 4 which basically only if we are not achieved will be on the difficult situation, but goal 4 is interlinked with many other goals. So if we miss the goal 4, we cannot even achieve the any other sustainable development goal, because the poverty or hunger or health indicator or gender indicator or climate change, whatsoever the indicator, if goal 4 is missing, ultimately all the goal we cannot achieve this. So this is the why the education foundational goal is the important. If we have not proper achieved that goal, so we cannot do anything else. We were very happy when in 18th amendment uh, this they added a new article 25A, which is the fundamental right, free and compulsory education is a state is responsible to provide every child. And then Article 37B says we have to provide a literacy with a minimum period of time, and that secondary education SDG goal is our international commitment. And some policy document says minimum allocation to education of the GDP is the 4%. Our countries like this. The last agreed education policy of 2009, it was mentioned we will allocate 7% of our GDP to the education, which was the commitment by the definite policy is the commitment of the government, and also the international commitment we made for this. So based on the some previous trends, we and some other colleagues in the ministry, we did some projection when we will able to reach the 4% of GDP. So we were thinking maybe in 42 or 43, we will, if we follow that trend, we will reach to this level. Where we are now, at this stage, like by the 2024, so where should we and where we are now?
थोड़ा सा इंटरप्ट कर लूँ प्रेजेंटेशन पूरी हो जाए देन वील ओपन द क्वेश्चंस क्योंकि क्वेश्चंस पे और भी क्वेश्चंस
Sure.
आपके पास आएंगे आई वुड encourage everybody to bring the questions
Sure.
to the end. Over to you.
Uh, Definitely, I will respond to this in after this. So we actually follow the last 10 years trends of allocating to the education, because one of the most serious indicator is how much we are allocating. That shows us the seriousness and commitment of the government. So we need 4%, which we are thinking maybe we reached at this level, and at this stage our allocation is less than 2%. It's about 1.6% of GDP we are allocating to the education. And based on that, we were thinking if we uh, put a good efforts and reached by 2040 to the 4%, and we started many new programs. We worked on the adding more schools, come up with more programs and some more different options. Then maybe by 50, 56, we will achieve the 100%, near 100% of the literacy rate, which was required by somewhere here. So as we are off track from the allocating resources, we are also off track to this projection as well. So at this stage, we should be near 70% of literacy rate, and as a literacy, we are still 60%, and adult literacy is like 58%. This chart shows our seriousness, uh, what is our priority. So we can see the historical allocation of to the education. So maximum we were in the 2.2 somewhere in I think 17, 18, and also in 14, 15 sometime. Other than this is ours is the less than 2% basically we are allocating to education. So with this allocation, again we are the lowest in the region to spending on the education of the GDP which we are doing this. So these are the somehow challenges which we looks there. The literacy situation is declining. Out of school children number is increasing. Learning is not happening, uh, and resources are not basically even our tax to GDP is very small. So within that, if very dynamic person come and with a lot of education commitment, frankly speaking, it's not easy to make a 4% at this stage. So we believe we need some alternate way of basically addressing this challenge. So for this, uh, my organization, Japan International Cooperation Agency, along with the Federal Education Ministry and four provincial education departments, we worked on to have some solution for this challenge. And from last 16, 17 years, we are working on those alternate options so we can have some ways to achieve this in a shorter duration and with some other like relevance at those we can cover. So for this, we thought the non-formal education is the one of the very viable option in Pakistan context. So we all know there are four way of learning. Random learning happen every day, and the one difference between the random learning and all other three learnings is the in the random learning intention is not there. So it's we are just go outside and we see some billboard or we watch any movie or any way of, so it's happened every day, every wherever we go we learn something, but we are not intentionally do this. The informal learning is it's not a organized or structured, but intention is there. There are many examples of informal learning like a zoo or museum or libraries. So we want to see something and we want to learn something, and then we decide to go there and learn this. So then there are the solid box is the two proper structured options for the education, which is the formal education and non-formal education. So our governments, they focused more on the formal education. So this rigid formal education consume our 99% resources. Just 1% or less than 1% we are allocating to the non-formal education. But the weightage of non-formal education of the equal to the formal education, it's require also a similar number, not similar, but at least a sufficient number of like funds they should have, and also the situation. So formal education, we in formal, as I said, it's where whatever we want to learn, wherever we want to learn, we can decide and we can do it. And the formal education, if a child in the age of 13 years, they knock door of school, say, I want to learn this. So they said, sorry, admission age is 4 years. So they refuse it. And if child say, I don't have the Bay form, can you kindly give me admission? They say, sorry, you have not identity, any documentation, so refuse. Child say, I'm working, I want to support my family in the morning. Can I come in the afternoon or evening? They said, sorry, we open at 8 a.m. So if you want to learn, you can come to that. If a child say, I have some prior learning knowledge, can you accommodate that prior knowledge and then give me some education which I can learn more accelerated way? So our system said, no, you have to fulfill this syllabus requirement and this curriculum requirement, and we are not. So it's not any flexibility we provide them. So that why they call it non-formal education is a decontextualized. Rigidity of formal education make it basically decontextualized. And the non-formal education is if child is working, they are not able to come in the morning, we can open a child non-formal school in the afternoon or even or in the workplace. Times we can change, duration we can change, we can build the relevant. If we end the Gwadar, we can put something which is required in the Gwadar, some fisheries or some those type of skills. So non-formal education is called it's more context appropriate, and this is the reason many countries now they are talking about to non-formalization of the formal education. So these terms become very popular nowadays because formal education cannot accommodate the quick rapid changing this change which happen in the society. So non-formal have this ability because of the nature non-formal education, the flexible options there. So based on this, we worked on these four options. We had this accelerated and integrated program, which helps to many children who are the overage, they have the prior learning, and they can accelerate this to further, and then they can move. Then flexible doorstep, hybrid and digital options, solutions. We worked on those relevant and need-based education, and also fast track and cost effective, providing with this minimum resources which we have, how much we can, with the less resources, how much target we can achieve. So these are the few options we worked on those, and I will quickly shows these four options which we have based on this we have worked. So first is the accelerated learning program, primary level. We call it ALPP. So this ALPP program is for those children who missed their first opportunity to go to the school. Now they are overage. They are 18 years above. And to them, we offer a 30 months primary course. So they can achieve the learning outcome of grade 5 competencies in less than 3 years and 2.5 years maximum. And they can even, after completion or earning a proper certificate, they can go to the next level, or even during they can transit from the horizontal, from the non-formal to formal or any other stream, vice versa, they can do it. So this option is, I'll further little bit explain how it's equivalency model, we worked on that. So the left side, we kachi paki nursery 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we know formal education, follow this grade system. And in the formal education, it's take us almost 6 years to complete in the public formal schools. I'm not talking about private formal schools. I don't remember how many years they spend to complete the primary education, but in the public, it's 6 years, is 5 to 6 years it take. So what we did actually, we vertically we merged the grades into a packages. So we offer three package A, B, and C. So package A is basically nursery KG1. We club them and then make it a package A. Grade 2 and 3 we integrated and make it package B. 4 and 5 package C. So when we were basically integrating these grades into package, we try to reduce the this burden of content as well. So many learning outcome which are very close and not much difficulties there. So we try to merge them, club them. Some learning outcome we believe are not required at that level, and it's not disturb the vertical progression. We deleted those, and some the higher adult level learning outcome we keep, and then other we have deleted. So we reduce the content burden by the 60% following this vertical integration. So you can see uh, this, it's not even necessary to complete in 30 months this whole. We have the placement or entry level assessment. If they have some prior learning and prior knowledge, we recognize that, and they can skip any package, or even we can decide maybe they need a 4 month to complete the package A, and then they can further continue into the package B and C. So the some children they complete primary education in 24 months, some in 18 months, and even some in 1 year also. So because based on the recognition of their prior learning and prior knowledge. This RPL terms, which is very popular in the TVET side, recognition of prior learning, but it's not very popular or common in the education side. So we try to bring this RPL approach into the education. Uh, I remember we were in Karachi, this Kurangi side, and I observed the children, this Bengali, they, in the morning, they go to the market, they bring potatoes, they boil them, and then they, in the street, they sell them. In the evening, they save some money. Again, in the morning, next morning, then reinvest, and then they again say. So the mathematical operation every day they are do basically, It's very high level, even more than the primary. But we don't recognize those mental mathematics. Same, they have a lot of scientific knowledge. They have many social studies and other knowledge. So our education system says you are blank, but they have come up with a lot of prior learning and knowledge. So we need to recognize that prior learning and knowledge and then build on that. So if we are able to connect that, we can save a lot of time and we can increase their interest in the education as well. Because that education allow them to recognize what they already know. So that is very useful for them. So and also you can see in the package A and B, we have only three subjects, Urdu, Math and English. But horizontally, actually, we integrated this different subject. So in the Urdu, Math and English, we have the integrated social study, Islamic study and science. So the learning outcome, which are in the science, we basically translate into Urdu. So when they are learning Urdu competency, they also learn the science theme concept, social study some concept, and Islamic study as well. So this our learning is not in the compartments. Basically, it's a horizontal. Sorry, it's a holistic happened. So we try to make this learning more like based on their holistic way, not just to follow the proper subject and those. So Urdu, I'll give maybe example. Sorry. So in the Urdu, we have one, for example, a topic is poda. अब पौधे को कैसे आपने पढ़ना है, लिखना है, ये कॉम्पिटेंसी उर्दू की है, लैंग्वेज की रिक्वायरमेंट है। लेकिन पौधे कितनी तरह के होते हैं, पौधे को जिंदा रहने के लिए क्या चाहिए, इसके ऊपर एक रोल प्ले हो सकता है, पौधों से बनी हुई चीज़ें क्या क्लासरूम के अंदर एक एक्टिविटी हो सकती है। सो विद दीज एक्टिविटीज एंड रोल प्ले यू गिव देम इस competency of science and some social study as well. So this is the way we integrated it, and then in the less content burden with less books, they achieve the more competencies of the different multiple subject. So one poda, one theme will give them 13, 14 learning outcomes of some of the general science, some social study, and some of the Urdu. So through this, we integration of horizontal help us to, in the less duration, they can achieve those learning outcome of different subjects. So it was not just a reduce that time actually. We added many values to this as well. So in this curriculum, what we did actually, we worked on we make it more activity based. In any book of this curriculum, the teacher cannot say open this page and memorize it, because there will be mentioned some activity which they have to do it. So through this, we try to make it more like this creativity or collaboration or critical thinking, and those 21st century skill is required. So we try to inbuilt in the design of the curriculum and textbook. Second thing, if you visit any nearby school of formal public school, government primary school in your surrounding some village, and ask a child, can you read this page? So they will start reading it. And ask them to stop on a specific word. They cannot recognize it because they have just memorized that portion, and this is the pedagogy which they have learned. So we try to introduce a different pedagogy based on like phonics. Definitely helps to know the mechanics of how to make a word and how to make a paragraph from this, but we try to make it a keyword and holistic way of learning. So they learn the keywords with the like phonics, and also decode that keywords into a different other themes which are related to this and relate with their surrounding as well. So that keywords, they teacher asks them what is this and how it's linked to your life. So then they relate and different topics they cover it. So this is we also added to this. A second solution we worked on the in the Pakistan previously non-formal education used to be just a primary level options. Now we vertically, because our elementary schools are just 11%, 80% are primary. So we need more supply side arrangement to the elementary level. So there was a lot of demand. That's why we started this ALP middle or ALP elementary level. So for those children who completed their primary education, or they believe they have the competency of primary level, even without certificate, they can join this program, and they can earn in the 16 to 18 month grade 6, 7, 8 equivalent education, which is the middle or elementary level education. And then during this, they can transit, or after that, they can go to the next level of grade 9 education or any distance mode education, or they can go to the TVET site. and if age appropriate, even they can go to the workplaces as well. Uh, while we are working on this, we also realize there is a lot of demand of skill by the poor families. So if they don't take like education, if education not giving them any guarantee of their income improvement, they are not interested. So that's why we, while we're working on that, we added a new stream into this, the ALP middle tech. So it's an integration of, first option is ALP middle simple, package D and E, vertically we reached, and then offer them in the equivalent to the grade 8 level. And the second, we have the middle tech. So they have to take one vocational skill along with the 5 core subject and then make a middle tech certification. So this is the dual certification. They can earn a degree of grade 8 and also level 2 of the vocational skill. National vocational qualification framework, we have a different level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the level 2 is the semi-skilled worker. Even with this certificate, they can go to the Middle East somewhere and they can get a better job because they will be registered in the inventory of skilled labor, which they, once they earn this certificate of this. So we introduce a different type of skills. So far, we reached 13, but 14 and 15 skills we are still working on the demand of Balochistan fisheries and mining. And we have this hotel management, introduction of tourism, graphic designing, media production, fundamental of cooking, agriculture, livestock, Internet of Things, dressmaking, beautician, applied electrician, plumbing, HVAC. And then these last two will be completed in a few months. But in the 13 skills curriculums are already approved by the National Curriculum Council and NAVTEC and all the provincial TVET authorities. And they can earn this and then they continue their education. So the last option is those who miss their education up to grades age 16. So we cannot bring them back to the education for the primary or middle level. So for them, we make a ILS, Integrated Literacy and Skill Program. So this ILS cover 3 areas. One is basic reading, writing, numeracy, and little bit functional English. Second is the life skill, and third is the income generation skills. So in a 6 to 8 month, they learn this, and then they can even improve their income through a proper certified course, and then they can continue this. So to attract the youth with this course, because they cannot afford a 2 3 years 4 years education, but if we ask them 6 8 months, you come and you will learn this level, so they are interested. So for them, we designed this program so they can continue their education. So we try to integrate, for example, if we take the livestock, so in the livestock, उर्दू कम्पिटेंसी वास दे हैव टू लर्न द खुराक को कैसे लिखा और पढ़ा जाता है, लेकिन जानवरों को किस तरह की खुराक चाहिए, किस उम्र के जानवर की क्या खुराक होनी चाहिए, दूध देने वाले जानवर को कैसी खुराक होनी चाहिए, गोश्त वाले जानवर को कैसी खुराक देनी चाहिए, खुराक बनाई कैसे जाती है. All these activity help them to learn the livestock competencies as well. So through this, they actually completed their basic education. I'll just show to the what is basically the outreach of these program in Pakistan currently. So far, we have more than 40,000. We call it center, not a school. Non-formal basic education center or non-formal education center, they call. More than 40,000 and 40, more than 42,000 are the teachers in this. It's a one teacher, one school style of non-formal education which is there. And then 1.6 million more than children are in the system who are learning through this alternate way of education. And we can see province-wise coverage, definitely Punjab, there are more, and other provinces as well. So this we can see how many children are there, how many teachers are there in the province-wise, some statistic you can see. And then category of some are now for basic education, some are adult literacy centers, some are the ALP middle, and the different categories and different as well. These are the NFE teachers. They are mostly are the female, and province-wise, their numbers are there. So this system is, if we all this our effort, it's not become a part of the whole system. It goes into the waste. So for this, we really worked on the many areas. First area was the legislation, a legal backup to this. So we worked with the provincial government to develop non-education policies. So all the provincial government, they have developed non-education policy approved by their cabinets, and they have notified. which giving them the RALP program a proper legal coverage. So at later stage, we realized maybe the policy also depending on the shift of the government. So then we start working on the Non-Education Act, Non-Education Literacy Act. So far, three provinces, their act are on the final stage, endorsed by the law departments, and now we are waiting. The parliament comes and they will get endorsed by the parliament, and through act they will have a more strong legal backup, so no one can shift or change this quickly. Then we worked on the curriculum, textbooks. Assessment system was, frankly speaking, one of the very difficult area. To earn a equivalent certificate, proper recognized certificate was not easy. So then we worked with the provincial authorities and the federal ministry to have the flexible assessment system as well. So our examination system is once a year. If you are fail, you have to repeat it next time. And you, if you are like learn something, but you have to wait for 8 months for exams. So we try to make it more flexible. If a like any person or organization says there are 20 children, they believe they have the competency of grade 5, can you arrange an exam for them? So based on the learning outcome, they assess them, provide them a certificate which is proper recognized and equivalent certificate, and then they move it. So now in the four provincial provinces and also the federal ministry, we have non-education assessment system. For example, a child, they do self-learning through the maybe through the online learning, so they can even apply for a certification through the exam, they can get the certificate. So we try to make it more this assessment system and certification more flexible, and then monitoring and evaluation system, and then this teachers training framework was also required to give them, these teachers required more trainings, because we shift the pedagogy and the traditional way of teaching not helps to basically implement these type of programs. So for this we have a teacher management framework, and also data management was also one of the crucial area. We set up a non-formal EMIS. We have the national EMIS, which is only covering the formal education schooling. Now we have non-formal EMIS. Every year they generate a education statistics report, and also this reports chapter of the overall education statistics to the Pakistan. So we can see this coverage, numbers, and also how much we are contributing to the education through non-formal education. And also this is a tool for the data-driven management. So there are module at planning stage, implementation stage, monitoring, tracking, and then evaluation of those programs. So this is a very holistic MIS which helps to the decide based on the evidences and do introduce this data-driven management concept in the education at all level. So these were the some efforts to make this system more recognized and available in the Pakistan. So thank you very much for very.
Thank you, and I will open now the floor for questions. I must say, our Dean, Dr. Tariq Jadoon is here. Tariq, would you like to say a few words? आप comment करना? Okay. All right. Okay. So the floor is open for questions. Sorry, I must remind myself. Sabha ने question किया था and I stopped you. ठीक है? Could you repeat your question? बल्कि छोटा, ठीक है?
बात कर रहे थे कि ये ट्रेंड फॉलो करेंगे तो जीडीपी 2042 तक 4 तक चला जाएगा। आई वांट टू नो मोर अबाउट दैट ट्रेंड। आई आल्सो वांट टू नो अबाउट योर इनसाइट्स के मेन इशू तो पॉपुलेशन का है ना। दिस कंट्री इज सो स्मॉल, वेरी लेस रिसोर्सेज एंड सो मच पॉपुलेशन। So even if we open schools and after 15 years, 20 years, floods come and because of the climate change. So many issues. You know what I mean. So how do you see if we control population, can we do something? Just want to know about that trend
I
you
fully
mentioned.
agree with you. Actually, all our indicator, we add new school, or we add more teachers, or we add more missing facilities to to accommodate more children, because the speed of adding facilities is less than the speed of population. So every year, million children enter into the eligible age of the schooling, and we have no schools area. Just imagine this DHA. So there were few villages in this areas before this, and every village have a one primary or middle or high school. So now its population looks how much it's increased. How many schools we have added? We are not able to even respond to that. So definitely the population control is one of the I say it's a must. We need to work it, but it's a vicious circle actually, because that's come through the education. And if people are literate, they are more educated, then they can realize it and they can work on. So we have to, in any case, work on both ends as Bangladesh did. Actually, Bangladesh, they use non-formal education to improve their indicator and literacy and school-going children's participation. Their net enrollment ratio is now, I think, 98% or 99%. They are touching that area. And also they put their efforts to control the population. That's why there are many development indicators are now on the trend is upward and they are achieving those indicators very quickly. So I fully agreed with you. The other trend, which is the allocating resources, our assumption was just few years previous allocations. So we just follow those trends and then estimated if we can see the business as usual, it's they follow, then we can reach to this level. We had not added any additional things to help to achieve those. It was just a projection based on previous year's trends.
जी, आमिर।
Alaikum sir. Thank you for a wonderful presentation and it बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे हमने बहुत कंसिडर किया है कि पाकिस्तान की यूथ के लिए एजुकेशन की एक्सेस में क्या इश्यूज हैं एंड यू गाइस हैव मेड इट वेरी इंक्लूसिव एंड आई एम वेरी क्यूरियस अबाउट द फैक्ट कि ये जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है कि ये रिसोर्सेज अब इन स्टूडेंट्स को अवेलेबल है हाउ इज़ दैट गोइंग टू बी पास डाउन इनटू द ग्रास रूट लेवल्स और पेरेंट्स को और स्टूडेंट्स को पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये ऑप्शंस हमारे पास हैं अवेलेबल
थैंक यू, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. एक्चुअली हमें पिछले कुछ साल लगे टू प्रोवाइड दिस ऑप्शन कि ये अवेलेबल है ऑप्शन, और इसको इट वाज नॉट इजी. And one of the most difficult area was the educationist, in fact. So they are not ready to introduce a new thing in Pakistan. I remember and bureaucracy also, and those. So we believe what's happening from last many years is sufficient. It's okay. So if we ask them to have any other alternate options, so they was the one of the big hurdle in this scenario. So we worked this on to at least first establish these solutions. For example, the ALP Middle Tech we started, and now through the Ilama Global Open University, we are offering this onto the hybrid delivery mode. 2 days, children have to come on a study center. 5 days, they can like learn at their workplace or at home. But before this, we start opening up. We want to test it how it works, and then all arrangement was required. So we did this pilot on the 27 places around the country, and some are the accessible location, some very far locations in the Balochistan and KP and those things. And then it was more like action research. So what works, what not works, and then we improve that and then establish this. From now, this year, we need to open up it because we worked on all the areas which were need to improvement, and we can see in few next months you will have a lot of advertisement or many like communication ways we will use it to bring this message to the people. Option is available. How is option to suitable for you and those things. So other than this, in every province and a district level, there are non-formal education government structure is there, but that structure was very weak. The human source was very less. The funds were very, because if demands generate, but we don't have any like facility available in that area. So again, it will be a problem. They want to join the program, but we have no option in the Kohlu or Barkhan in the Balochistan. So we strengthening those provincial and district level structured and worked with the government to increase their allocation for the non-education. I remember in 2014-15, non-formal education, just they were receiving 23 million annual to celebrate International Literacy Day or do some walk and those, nothing else. So now they have a 3,500 million rupees budget this year. So they are reached to 22 districts of Balochistan. Next financial year, they will be available in 36 districts of Balochistan. So through this, first we need to arrange this facility and then work on the promoting this through the different communication channels of those areas.
Thank you so much. जी.
Alaikum, sir. Thank you so much for the talk. And I was wondering if provide alongside providing education, is JICA also promoting like providing students with certain kind of knowledge like career counseling maybe, and also like telling them about different global and international scholarships as well, so that they can also get access to those kind of opportunities and privileges as well. And if some student for example non formal से वो formal की तरफ promote होना चाह रहे हैं या वहाँ जाना चाह रहे हैं, so do they face any kind of discrimination as well, और वो किस तरह से उनको impact करती है in that sense?
Thank you. So to your questions. First is definite, JICA. This is one of the area we are working, but other than this, we have many other areas. We are working on the scholarships. JICA, Japanese scholarships everywhere they announce, and international scholarship they provide, and even in the country they have provided a lot of funding for this to offer the scholarship program for higher education or those programs. And we also provide scholarships for the teachers' education to improve their further in the Japan and other countries as well. And on the climate, JICA is really contributing a lot. Other than this, many other fields they are doing, constructing more school or adding more infrastructure, accessibility and those. But this specific areas which we are working to provide this alternate or flexible education program for those children who cannot continue their education through that proper structure system. And for this, what was your second question? Sorry.
If they change the stream from non-formal to
Yes.
formal, so
So as I show the equivalency framework, so the equivalency framework allow them to have that basically transition from one to other. So it's it both way. The children can come from the formal to non-formal and non-formal to formal. On the package A, they can go to the grade 2. Package B, they can go to the grade 3, like this. So it's also notified, for example, in the Punjab, PCTB has notified this, and this notification is circulated everywhere. So it's accepted. They are this transition from this to this, or even they can go not horizontal movement, but vertical movement as well. The second part is basically this discrimination happened. Actually, this is very interesting. When the children from non-formal school to they go to the formal schools, they feel very difficulty because of the teachers' way of teaching is very traditional, and in the non-formal education is a very open, very participatory, very flexible, child-centered. So that's why the children non-formal they perform better. So when we have put them in the formal education, sometimes they come back. They said, "Sorry, we cannot continue through that because that system is not accepting us in that level." So sometimes we worked on the formal education side to sensitize them about what non-formal education and what the children are coming, what is their background, and how you need to accommodate this. So to ensure this smooth transition, we work both hands to improve the teachers' understanding about this non-education, those concepts as well.
Thank you so much. So I have two more questions, Rida and then Aisha. Please keep your questions short. Ji.
I really like the idea that whatever we learn at SOE, it's practically happening, so it's commendable. But I was actually interested in the concept of random learning. If you could elaborate on that, because I personally, I have a literature background, so I feel that through cinema, through a media, we could create a culture that might bring in the acceptance, so that even the issue of discrimination and acceptability could be enhanced. Because this idea of non-formalization is amazing, but it's not accepted. So how could we use random learning to
Yeah, random learning definite. As I saw, like we have four learning opportunities. One is random, informal, non-formal, and formal. So I more talk about the non-formal and in learning and why it suits and why it's required in Pakistan. But definite random learning opportunities or informal learning opportunity, we also need to increase more this because we cannot make it again into a structure or systems which not reachable to many of the people. So I think this random learning opportunities, and I remember whenever I go to the Japan, if you are in the train, you find many reading things there, even in the market or in the shops. So it's a culture. And even a home. In our homes, we even cannot find a calendar in the walls too. So this random learning opportunities we need to increase, and we also use it very intentionally. That's definitely random learning not happen intentionally from the receiving end, but at design end we can do it and we can provide it. We need to work on that area as well. But still, we are working to strengthening the first one and then later move to that areas.
I'm a student of executive MPhil. आपका जो एक स्लाइड था जिसमें सोल्यूशन वन था उसमें लिखा हुआ था कि विद डिजिटल इन 18 मंथ्स उसमें थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करेंगे एक तो आई वाज जस्ट वंडरिंग कि ये जो एक डिजिटल की हम बात करते हैं डिजिटलाइजेशन की डिजिटल डिवाइड भी एक है तो हाउ डू वी इंश्योर कि वो लोग डिजिटली स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं वो एक्सेस कर पा रहे हैं ऑब्वियसली जिन स्टूडेंट्स को हम अप्रोच करना चाह रहे हैं जिनको नॉन फॉर्मली हम सिखाना चाह रहे हैं उनके पास ज़रूरी तो नहीं है इतना एक्टिव इंटरनेट कनेक्शन हो या फिर सो आई एम जस्ट क्यूरियस टू नो कि इस टाइप की हर्डल को or with the resources we have with digitalization now at our hands how can we use them to
Yeah, actually, digital is the reality, which
right
definitely we
exactly
have to move to this, and we cannot hold it. COVID push us basically to think about this and strengthen this platforms and use this as an option. So we also using this with all the limitation of internet connectivity or digital devices, but we are strengthening this as an option as it. It's not that basically everyone can access, but at least those who have the connectivity or those who have the some gadgets, they can access it. But for this, we are also working on the offline options, online options, and if considering if we do internet connectivity, but at least some loaded material and content we can provide them. So we have digitalized all our curriculum at primary level. By March, we will start offering, but middle and middle tech, it's already digital, and we have all the options available. As I said, we tested in 27 places in the Gwadar or in the GB site and KP, this Batagram and where internet. So through this devices, we provide them so they can access offline that material, but with a good video. For example, we are teaching them some livestock. It's difficult to bring a some like expert to that area, or we cannot find some local expert to that skill. But a good video with proper instruction can help to understand that concept. Any local facilitator can use those content and deliver them. So some of our partners, they have provided one projector and one recipe to connect it and then to show them some videos and then based on do some assessment. So through these good content, their learning was really fast. Even we recently developed a scheme of study for 1 year from primary based on the digital.
ये कंटेंट आप लोग जायका डेवलप कर रहा है
We basically are the technical part of the government. We don't claim it's we are developing. We help them to develop this content. So we are working with the government to have all this content available, along with many other partners and supporters of this.
Thank you so much, Abid Saab. I think it has been fascinating to listen to you, to really sort of connect what we are learning in our classrooms to what actually is happening out there and to know more about your fascinating work. Last questions, and I'm sure there's tea outside and you have questions you can ask Abid Saab there. So if young people want to join you and join the good work you are doing, where are the spaces to work, A, and what are the kinds of skill sets that you're looking for so that,
Thank you.
bright
It's a
people
very,
can come in and
I
work?
think it was my interest as well to talk about this, in fact. Because as I said, we are working on the many, many areas. We are at the policy or enactment and setting up the some legal structure. We are working on the governance and we are working on the strengthening their structures. We are working on the MIS development and data-driven management. We are in the curriculum. We are in the pedagogy development, teachers training, monitoring system, and all areas. So we, frankly speaking, when we engaged very senior so-called education people, many times we failed on that area because they are not coming with some new thing in the PCTB, in the BOC of Karachi, Jamshoro, they are doing this curriculum development from last 30, 40 years. They are there. So if we ask them to develop a curriculum for the non education, they will come up with a similar type of things because they have no any other exposure or any other way of thinking. So they stereotyping which they are follow, they are not ready to move that. And to for us, it has really become sometimes very big challenge to convince them why we cannot think about this alternate options. Why we need for each SLO 2, 3 pages in a textbooks. One maybe a role play can help us to achieve that SLO, or short video or maybe any other activity. So they know, they believe only if there is a 3 page for each SW in a textbooks, then they are satisfied. So changing them, it's become very challenging. So that's why we need a people, young people who are coming with the more passion, with the new ideas, with new fresh mind. So if they worked on these areas, then it's really become change, and we can sustain these efforts. So we are very open. We can discuss any areas of like interest of those who are interested. We can engage them, we can align them. We also do sometimes researches to generate some evidences for this. So many areas where we can, I think, platforms are there with the government, with the JICA, and with the other development partners. Because for this program, we have 11 development partners are basically along with us: World Bank, Asian Development Bank, UNICEF, UNESCO, IDB, GIZ, and those. So we developed a platform with those, so we can develop some similarities, avoid duplication, and develop some synergies as well. So we can think, adjust, or we can align these young people who want to become a part of this through this program, and it will be help both way actually. They can have access to the policy level interventions which will enrich their understanding about that, and then we can get some fresh insight, and we can improve our practice as well. So
Thank you so much, Abid Saab. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And let's have tea together so we can continue our talk there. Thank you so much.